Normally when I cover text messages, it's about really creepy guys doing unhinged things to women through texts or videos, whatever. Today is a little different. This is only like the second time I've covered a story like this, where a guy encountered a woman, and it was very different dynamic of things that happened. However, what I want to talk about here is actually the way that this guy handles the situation, because I actually think it's a masterclass in how to communicate effectively. I'll bring you up to speed on the lore that lead to these text messages. The original poster here on Reddit is a man who has been talking to a woman for a couple of hours, and then he receives these messages. Hi. I've been thinking about you all evening and can't get you out of my mind, handsome. I know it's a little early to say this, but I have such a special feeling about you. And he goes, oh wow, that's really nice of you to say. I appreciate that so much. She says, you're welcome. While you've been away, I even told my mom and my friends about you. It truly takes a rare kind of guy for me to be able to say those things so quickly about. I feel so lucky and honored that the stars aligned to have us match when we did. You feel too good to be true, and I want you to know that. And he's blushing here like an anime character. Oh gosh, wow. Gee willikers, goodness gracious. That's super nice. Thank you. Out of curiosity, what is it about me that stands out to you? So, again, they have only been talking for a couple hours in total, and she's already basically planning their wedding. She's telling all of her friends, her family about this guy, despite not knowing shit about him. Prior to this, they had only talked about their pets. At least that's what he said, mainly their pets. So this is a lot to take in here. She's basically creating this Hallmark movie out of nothing. Off rip. We only started talking a couple hours ago and only shared a few texts back and forth so far. So I'm honestly just curious what caught your attention about me, because that's very, very sweet of you. This may sound crazy, but call it a sixth sense if you will. I can read people like a book, and I already feel like you, I've known you forever. I don't know if you believe in past lives or not, but if stuff like that exists, I had a weird feeling about 30 minutes ago that we knew each other in a past life, and I have to get to the bottom of where and how. Damn, that's really crazy. It really is though. Thank you for finding your way to me. And he just goes, haha, you're welcome. When asked what about him exactly drew her to feel so strongly about him so quickly, she says that it was a sixth sense. Basically, it's her superpower. She's one of the Avengers, and she has the ability to find her soulmate after only communicating with them for a couple of hours. She's like a vibe sorceress. She's able to pick up on vibes and figure out who's got the best vibes for her, and falls in love very quickly. Nothing here seems malicious, and in a vacuum, it's pretty sweet messages, but these are messages you'd expect from someone that you are actively dating or someone you have known for a long time and are progressing to that stage. This isn't something that you would immediately dump on someone's plate after only knowing them for a couple of hours. That's a lot of food to digest there. That's a lot to put in your pipe and smoke here. There's a lot happening way too quickly. I hope you don't think I'm crazy. I don't normally say stuff like this to guys, but there's something different here, almost like spiritual energy. I've been waiting for my soulmate for years and kept getting led astray by the wrong people, and now I think I know why. We have to meet ASAP. I'm so fucking excited to see what out energy in person is like. If it's this intense over text, I can't imagine how incredible IRL our dynamic will be. She's definitely seeing these text messages through a different lens here, because I'm not picking up on any type of electric energy. I'm not getting butterflies in my tummy just reading it. I'm not getting the tingles. This is two very different levels of intensity and excitement. She's out here full of jubilation like she just won the lottery. Meanwhile, the guy's energy is the same excitement you get over finding an extra chicken nugget in your 8-piece box. Like, it's very different. But he still says, when are you free? I'd love to meet tomorrow, but I have therapy late afternoon and then work at night. So how about the day after? That'd probably work. I can let you know for sure by tomorrow at some point. How about I take you to dinner? I would love that. I'm so looking forward to the first meeting in our beautiful story, handsome. Aw, lol. You're so sweet. I have to go to bed now for work tomorrow morning, but let's talk more tomorrow. Absolutely. Sweet dreams, sweetheart, and you'll be in my dreams. He says, sweet dreams. I hope you have a good night's rest. The next morning rolls around and it's a totally different ball game, sports fans. Good morning. How's your morning going? She says, good morning. Fine, and yours? Now he's the one with a lot of energy now. Great so far. You're hitting him with the Tony the Tiger. Great. Just had a meeting with my boss and got some pretty positive feedback, so I'm pretty happy about that. And she just one-words him. Gotcha. He immediately picks up on the tonal shift here and says, "Is everything okay, lol?" "Yeah, why do you ask?" "Because you're being more short than you were yesterday, which is fine. I'm just trying to see if you're okay and if you need anything." This guy seems like an actual sweetheart, but this guy seems like a fucking peach. This guy seems legitimately like a nice person. And she goes, "I appreciate that. Well, to be honest, I was in my feels this morning when I woke up to no good morning text from you." That's an odd thing to expect from someone who is legitimately still a stranger to you, but even still, he apologizes, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I woke up later and had to rush to work. As soon as I got to work, I had the meeting with my boss and then immediately texted you after the meeting was over. I'm really sorry for the misunderstanding." "Yeah, it's cool. I just thought you were perfect for me and then this happens." And he's as confused as every other person on the planet would be. He says, "I'm confused. Did I do something wrong? It's still pretty early in the morning. It's not like I went most or even half of the day without texting you." She then says, "Love is about prioritizing other person and you clearly prioritize your job and your boss over me." I'm going to let that ruminate for a moment. I'm going to let you go ahead and marinate in that text for a second. And now we'll proceed. He says, "You could have sent a good morning text to me too, you know." Let's just pause there. Love is about prioritizing other person and you clearly prioritize your job and your boss over me. Yes, as he should. You are a stranger. What do you expect him to do? March in there up to his boss, spit in his face and be like, "I quit. I'm going to go travel the world with this girl I talked to last night. We're going to go around the world in a hot air balloon, damn it. And you can't stop me anymore. I don't need this job. I'm out." What an extraordinarily selfish and downright evil thing to ask of a partner. Especially one that's not even your partner. This is, again, a mysterious stranger to you. They haven't even met yet. I hopped on Apex Legends on stream the other night and ended up queuing with a random squad mate in 3 consecutive games. I knew more about that motherfucker through him just on the open mic than these two know about each other. And it's not like I'd send him a good morning text, but like she's making this huge issue about not receiving a good morning text in a timely enough fashion for her expectations. He still sent a good morning text, mind you, when he didn't need to, since again, they're not dating and they really don't even know each other at all, but he still sent one. It just wasn't fast enough for her, and that right now is a massive problem to her. That is shocking. Why does it automatically have to be me going first? Plus, to be honest, we barely know one another. I don't think it's fair that there are already these expectations. Super reasonable from him. And he's right. If it really is a huge deal to her, she could have been the one to send the good morning text, and then he would have known and been able to respond when he could. She then says, "Dude, you are the man here. You're supposed to be winning my heart. That's your role. I don't want to chase someone. I deserve someone who will romance me and win me over. Waiting to text me until you get to the office shows your priorities are not what I thought they were." What the fuck? What are you talking about? He's already won your heart over by just existing, it seems like, since you... Oh, I'm farting. Yeah, that's how much I think of that statement. I rest my case. I'll let my asshole do the talking on that one. Not much more needs to be said there. He then responds, "I'm sorry, but this is crazy. We are practically strangers and you're already making demands. I do romance whoever I'm pursuing. I'm a very romantic guy. I did text you early this morning, but because it wasn't done exactly the way you think it should be, I'm a bad guy." She then goes on to explain that she doesn't think he's a bad guy, but just doesn't like that he doesn't feel the same way about her as she does to him. She then also explains that the therapist she sees is for her borderline personality disorder, and she explains how that relates to what they've been talking through. And that made a lot of sense when I read that with the way she was acting throughout these text messages. And that is a very real struggle that I always have a lot of sympathy for, and I'm always wishing the best for people going through BPD. It's great that she's trying to get help through therapy, and I'm wishing the absolute best for her with that. What I want to talk about here, though, is how he handles this whole situation. Even before knowing about her BPD, which obviously he didn't since they are completely strangers to each other, he was still being very respectful and communicating effectively. He wasn't being combative or aggressive. He was being a very wholesome individual, and this is just an unfortunate set of circumstances. He responds by saying that he appreciates her sharing her vulnerability, and then says, "Do you mind if I share something that's bothering me a little bit?" And she says, "Yes, please do. I want to know how you feel so badly. Please open up to me." Well, I'm a little scared that you're already using the word love in regards to us. We are still basically strangers and have been texting for less than 24 hours. And she just says, Kay, should have known you weren't special after all. You're a normie, a basic bitch if you will. Normies don't understand or appreciate love. They will never know what we do. He says, who is we? She says, empaths. I am an empath and feel things more strongly and deeply than regular people, something you clearly don't appreciate and take for granted. One day someone will see my gift and cherish it. He says, I wanted to take you on a date. If it went well and we were compatible after a while, I was definitely interested in a serious committed relationship, but I do have to meet someone first to know that and hang out a bit first before I make that commitment, which again is a totally understandable thing. And she says, fuck off, bro, you're disgusting. I can't believe I ever saw something in you. You are not the one, you're just another schmuck in a long string of disappointments. Schmuck is a word I haven't heard since the Stone Ages, and I really appreciate that she dusted it off for this message. Schmuck is something that used to make me giggle every time I heard it when I was a kid. I deserve better. Fuck you. You thought I loved you, but I don't, bitch. Don't ever contact me again. We are over. I never loved you. You lost the best girl. You'll never meet someone like me again because you're a normie who can't see or identify a gym. We are not the same. Love is not a lie. You were. You're the problem. Don't contact me again, basic bitch. You repulse me. Bye, loser. It's actually very sad reading these things. Like, this isn't your normal r/nice guy blow up moment where a dude pretends to be a nice person just to try and get laid, and when he doesn't get pussy out of it, he has a meltdown like, I don't love you, you're fat and ugly, and no one would ever love you. I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet, and you just blew it with me, the alpha male. Fuck you. Get out of town, scram, swine. Like, this isn't one of those moments. It's not her fault she has BPD. But she's clearly not ready for a real relationship right now. She's going to need to continue to get help. Her having BPD doesn't make this hurt any less for the guy who just received this. He's done nothing wrong. And I actually think he is a great example of how to communicate softly, respectfully, and just being a pretty good example of like how to just be a normal person when interacting with somebody else. He also mentioned that he is still currently receiving text messages from her that continue to get scarier and more extreme, which is unfortunate to hear. It definitely sounds like she needs help with this to come up with more effective ways of dealing with her BPD, and hopefully she finds that help she needs. But I thought this was worth sharing, and yeah, that's really about it. See ya. I have to talk about these text messages. I can't help it. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I'm only human. These are extraordinary in like the creepiest way imaginable. I usually don't like to do the same type of content back to back, and yesterday I covered some text messages as well, but I can't resist the urge. It calls out to me. The void beckons, and I have to speak on these. So, the context. A lady had an old coworker whom had been fundamentally stalking her for quite some time. Her and her husband had dealt with this individual for a while, and decided to share some of the unhinged messages that they had been sent by him. There was a lot more that happened besides these text messages, but that's what was shared and what I want to go over. Buckle your seatbelt here, because this is about to be a pretty intense ride. This is a good read from cover to cover, if you like lunacy. Hey, I hope your weekend has started nicely. I apologize it took me a few days to feel like I could say this. No need to apologize, goober. I get it. Had to muster up the courage here. Hype yourself up in the mirror so that you could really let the demon out. You need to break up with blank and then agree to be my girlfriend with intentions to be my wife. And let me explain why. So he's basically acting like a car salesman here, trying to drive the hard bargain. It's like an episode of Shark Tank. I'm seeking a wife for 10% equity in my cock. I have no doubt he also had a PowerPoint presentation prepared for this, but unfortunately maybe it didn't attach, so it didn't send. I can provide more for you than he can. The independent woman facade you engage in wouldn't be necessary with me. I make more than enough money in my job in order to take care of you and provide you with a lakefront house, which I know is a desire of yours. I can provide you the free time that you often post about and yearn for to engage in your favorite hobby, ceramics. All I ask for you is your devotion in return. I know I am perhaps not physically desirable to you, which is why I plan to compensate with the lifestyle you often talk about wanting to provide yourself. You can really feel the fedora through these messages. It smells of such potent desperation. It's also very interesting that he calls attention to not being physically desirable to her. It's an interesting negotiation tactic. Excuse me, madam. I know you may not be physically attracted to me, but here's how I can make up for my face looking like turbo ass. I know if you could be given an opportunity, you would take it because you mostly desire to be able to experience freedom in life. It is something painful for me knowing you could have everything you wanted if you would simply agree to be my wife in the future. I could also pay off your student loans and car loan, which I know you've expressed desire to have those completed in the next 6 years. I could do that today, with a simple call to your loan companies. All I need from you is to immediately move to my property and begin your new life with me. Jesus Christ, that is concerning. I can pay off all of this, just come join my cult. And I promise I am not a rapist or a creep. Nothing screams good guy quite like needing to clarify that you are neither a rapist nor a creep. I mean, would he lie to you, right? I mean, that's what a normal person says, like, by the way, miss, I am neither rapist nor creep, so you should feel safe around me. Now come live on my property immediately. I am not going to imprison you or shackle you or enslave you to a basement. Well, alright, breath of fresh air. I was a little concerned about that, but now luckily he explained it. Now there's no reason to feel alarmed anymore about that being a possibility. You are free to continue your friendships with your womanly friends and your relationships with your family. I would never take this from you. I would never force you into sexual situations you do not want to be in. I know it must sound so strange hearing this, but I feel I must make it clear to you that this is a dream opportunity that will not harm you in any capacity other than dropping your current life, boyfriend, and job, and immediately begin pursuing your hobbies while we plan our wedding. I've got a sneaking suspicion that this guy would absolutely shackle her and imprison her in the basement. But I imagine she wouldn't be alone down there. There's probably quite a few other victims that he has in that basement. This is a fucking unhinged creep. Now, it's important to mention that this isn't just some random person sending a bunch of nonsense. This is a very credible threat to the safety of this woman. So, according to the husband, they had been dealing with this individual for quite some time. And they even went to court over it. There's a lot that this individual has done, aside from just these creepy messages. And it had been a huge problem for them for a while. This is a really dangerous person to be around. I hope you're not overwhelmed. I know we have not spoken very much in the last 6 years we've known each other. I've always known you were supposed to be mine as soon as I met you on March 3rd, 2018. He's got that shit marked in his calendar as the most important day of his life. I've never once inserted myself into your life. I haven't pestered you for your phone number, and we have an occasional chat on Facebook now that we're not in the same office anymore. I've been satisfied with this level of acquaintanceships for years, and I understand that you have been with blank since 2012. I understand you were committed to him prior to us meeting, but blank, you must agree that we have something special. We share so many interests, and we were always able to have great natural conservation. When we would attend lunch together during the workday, it was an effortless and relaxing experience to share those 40 minutes with you once or twice a week. And don't think I forgot how often you paid for yourself, a trait I knew was you trying to assert your independence in front of me. Oh, the delusion. Oh, the delusion is sickening. That's an example of something I've talked about quite a bit on stream, where no matter what, there are people that will view things in an entirely different lens that make no sense. Something as simple as her buying lunch for herself was interpreted, misconstrued by this fucking menace as her trying to assert her independence in front of him. So it's just like this honestly scary situation where something totally innocent, like just buying yourself lunch, has now completely been lost in the sauce of this dude's noodle, where he thinks it was all about him. It's so weird. I knew then you were trying to show me that you'd love for someone to take care of you. I'm ready to settle into a family-oriented life, and I recall you saying you would have children if you had the financial capital to do so. I know you desire to be a mother despite your current male partner not wanting them. You would make a wonderful mother to our children. I would ensure you had everything you needed to live the family life of your dream. Wow, I just had a voice crack. That was a big voice crack, too. This man's serial killer stalker Riz just attacked my vocal folds. And I know you love to travel. Before we settle down with children, I want to take you to your dream destination list. I've kept track of all the places you've mentioned over the last few years that you'd like to visit. You always share such a beautiful landscape photos. He's like the Zodiac killer here. I bet if this wasn't over Facebook Messenger or whatever, it would have been sent via postage, letters in the mail, using cutouts from magazines for the letters. I want to take you to Japan, to Thailand, to New Zealand, to Greece. Yah! It's like that classic one. Oregon! Yah! Fucking the Dean scream. And after that, we'll go to the opal mines in Australia for your dream ring, and then I'll take you to all the waterfalls the islands have to offer. How does this sound? My proposition is serious. You know I am a serious man. I'm turning 45 years old this year, and you are turning 32 years old. It's time to start making decisions about our familial life and how to enjoy our remaining years. Please know I have never offered any woman this proposition. I have a very secure career that I enjoy and will do whatever it takes to maintain in order to have your companionship, sexual prowess, and motherly raising of our children. I will give you everything you desire, as long as you agree to be my wife and raise our children. A very strong negotiation overall. I wonder how she'll respond to this in the Shark Tank. Hey, blank, I wanted to acknowledge that I received your message. It's really long though, so give me a minute to read and respond. That feels more like she's very afraid and is doing this out of pure obligation, like buying time, to figure out how to handle this without setting this guy off on like some kind of rampage, like this violent outburst, which is smart on her part for sure, to like very gently navigate this, because it's a scary situation having a stalker like this. Good morning. I am still awaiting your acceptance of my proposal. I look forward to hearing from you. Oh god, he's dropping the hammer now. It's all business, and he's not taking no for an answer. Good morning, goofball. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know how to respond to this. I don't mean this negatively, but I honestly don't know whether or not to take this seriously. What I mean by that is, I don't know if this is a joke or not. You said this is quite out of left field, so I'm not exactly sure how to respond to you. This proposition is very serious. I have to make serious considerations about my familial life as I'm ready to establish this. I know I can offer you much more than your boyfriend can. It has been 10 years, and he still has not provided you with those things you desire most. I am a better provider than he is, and I will ensure your needs are met. Please, I would appreciate you taking this seriously and giving me a date and time I can come collect your items and move you into my house. It's in northern blank. This guy is already convinced that it's a yes, and now he's just trying to figure out when he should schedule the college hunks hauling junks to come collect all of her shit to move in with him. So now she fully responds to this. Surely you have to understand I can't agree to something like this. My life is my life because I've built it this way. I am not a damsel waiting to be rescued. While yes, I would enjoy an easier path to achieving the lifestyle I want, I don't mind working for it, and frankly, I'm insulted that you perceive my career to be a choice I'm settled to because I have not found the right man. Most importantly, it's another level of egotistical to assume I would dump an 11-year relationship in an instant for a fantasy pipe dream of yours. I mean this seriously. I'm not interested in your proposition. Trading my life for materialistic items and to be breed mare is not something I ever intended to do with my time. I don't know you. You don't know me. You have a limited glimpse into my life through my social media posts. What you see online represents a fraction of who I am as a person. We were co-workers and nothing more. I made this very clear to you in the years we worked together. I was in my relationship prior to even working with you. Yes, you're right, you never crossed that boundary, but instead you spent the last 6 years building a fantasy and dream life in your mind in which you think I would trade my value as a human being for a lake house and free time for pottery. I'm not sure how you became convinced this would be enough to make me leave the life I have built, but I need to assure you it's not. Please do not ask me this again. I am not interested, nor will I ever be interested in being your wife and childbearer. So she lets it all hang out here. She pulls no punches. She sets the record straight and says it right to his face. Well, as close to his face as anyone will ever come through text messages here. Breedmare. Now, there's no need to insult me. I am not propositioning you to live in solitude and to raise children alone. I want a family. I want you to be my wife, specifically, and I want to build a family with you. I thought you were intelligent enough to understand how great of an offer this is. Buddy, she is intelligent enough to recognize that her life would be in danger saying yes to you, you absolute maniac. You fucking weirdo. She is extremely smart to say no to this, as pretty much everyone on the planet with any level of survival instincts would. You're weird, you're dangerous, you're creepy, you're a stalker. Everyone's going to be saying no to you. I know you're primarily saying no because you don't find me physically attractive. If I looked better than your boyfriend, I have no doubts you would emphatically tell me yes. I didn't know you were so shallow. Oh, now he's going full nice guy mask off mode, even though he wasn't really putting up a nice guy persona in the first place. You would learn to be physically attracted to me just as I learned to be physically attracted to you after you gained 60 pounds. You look much better when you are staying in the 150 to 200 pound range, yet I never said a word to you about the fact that you gained so much weight because I realized you were perfect otherwise. I realized your looks didn't matter when your soul is what I wanted to spend time with. He probably wants to suck her soul out of her body like Shang Tsung. Like, this is a threat to her life, and she is absolutely making the right call, trying her best to get away from this guy and shut it down as hard as possible. It is simply a trade for a house and free time. Oh, the barter method, of course. I am offering you the very thing you constantly talked about and post about, the freedom to enjoy your existence without stress and anxiety. There would be more stress and anxiety with you because you are actually dangerous. It'd be a constant, guessing game of whether or not she's going to survive through the night under your roof. This guy is fucking scary. And he makes it seem like so simple. Simply in return, we are married and have a family together. Yeah, I mean, that's small potatoes. That's nothing. That's no big deal. It's a great trade. You get a house and you get the weirdest man in the world. A win-win. You would learn to love it because our home together would be so peaceful and joyful. However, perhaps you're right, and you are not the woman I thought you were. You're attracted to a low-life loser who filed bankruptcy at 25, hid his credit card debt from you. You pay his bills while he job hops because he doesn't know how to stay at a job for longer than a year. You cried constantly at work and had panic attacks not knowing where the money was going to come from. And what did you do? You worked a second and third job to make ends meet while he piddled away at putting in applications and not manning up to do what he needed to do. Why are you choosing this weak boy over me? I am mature, career-oriented, family-oriented, and I am a devoted partner. I would never force you into a position to make up for my shortcomings like your boyfriend does. I am better than him in every way, and yet you still choose him. It is baffling to me why young women like yourself want to be with the losers and drug dealers who will end up beating you silly. Keep in mind, this is coming from the same worm, the same specimen, who had to assure her he's not a rapist and wouldn't imprison her and shackle her. I think this guy is the one that most likely would beat a woman silly, because he has all of the red flags you could possibly fucking imagine about a man. I'm going to fast forward through the second paragraph, Meltdown here, which is just a teary-eyed tantrum with him shaking his fist saying, I thought you were different. You must stay with him for his penis size, because I can't even begin to understand how someone as intelligent as you are would turn down my offer. A luxury life free of stress turned down for a life of second-guessing and financial strain? Why? What good reason do you have to turn down my offer? He immediately goes to wiener size. Just another huge insecurity here. So I'm guessing not only is he physically appalling, but he also has a tiny cock. She says, I'm not even going to entertain that message with a response. I don't owe you any explanation about why I'm still with my boyfriend even after all his shortcomings. I don't owe you an explanation on anything, ever. I've been wondering all evening what it could possibly be about me that you're so repulsed by that you won't accept the offer of a lifetime. Yeah, it's such a mystery. What about this perfect gentleman here and scholar would she find repulsive? I'm racking my brain and I got nothing. I have no idea. What could she possibly not like about him? He's such a doll. My friends are also appalled. Why aren't you accepting this? Yeah, I'm sure he has so many friends. He contacts all his friends. He's like, guys, she won't just give up her life and move in with me. What's wrong with this bitch, huh? What's going on? Is she crazy? She's crazy, right? It's not me. I'm not the problem, right? I didn't think so. It's definitely her. It's everything you have ever wanted, and you're turning it down still? Why? You owe me an explanation after I spent years ensuring I had enough to offer you. That's really scary. If this guy's whole motivation for working hard, grinding, and getting money is just to try and act on this fantasy delusion with a stranger, that's unhinged. Well, all of this is unhinged, but that one's even wilder because again, they're not close to each other. They're still pretty much strangers. I'm starting to get very upset by your actions. You have one more chance. Anything less than an emphatic yes will not be accepted. So he tries to bring it down, an ultimatum. Last chance. This is the last ball game pitch here. It's got to be a home run yes or I'm out. I'm sure this will come as a huge surprise to all of you watching this, but she still said no. In the most polite way possible, fuck off. I don't owe you shit. I'll be blocking you now. Have a great rest of your life. I waited all day to see if your little conniption would resolve and you'd come back begging me for this opportunity. But I see you've decided to block me on Facebook, but too stupid to also block me on Messenger. At least for now. He's now fully in his villain arc. He put on a trench coat, sunglasses, and he's doing this while typing. I see you've blocked me on Facebook, but not Messenger. For now. I cannot believe I allowed myself to become entangled in the idea that a beastly fat woman such as yourself would actually choose to settle down with me. I can do so much better than you, and yet here I was offering you a way out of your wretched life. We both know you're settling with blank because you're too lazy to lose weight and make yourself more attractive, and you've trained him to be okay with your fat. I was willing to let your fatness go to the side because I knew if you had free time, you'd lose the weight and retain a more attractive figure for our relationship. I'm embarrassed I've spent so much time preparing for this moment and it was wasted on a fat whore who doesn't know when she has struck gold. I truly thought you were different, that you actually wanted a nice man to be with. I see I was dead wrong. And she says, you can literally suck the juices out of my fat blank and choke on them, you absolute troglodyte. So at least there's a happy ending here. It ended on a positive note for both parties involved. So this guy did end up doing the quintessential nice guy sign off, that standard song and dance of, you know what, I'm better than you. I should have never wasted my time with you because you're fat and you're a whore and you're chunky, you're chubby, and I hate you. You're tacky, and I hate you. You're fat, and I'm a nice guy, the nicest guy you'll ever meet. You blew it. You blew it. It's on you, and you should feel bad. I'm not crying, you're crying. That's where the text message journey comes to a conclusion. Like I said, there was a lot more outside of text that he did, but I only wanted to focus on the texts. Hopefully, they don't have to deal with this individual anymore going forward, and yeah, that's about it. See ya. Rejection never feels good, it always hurts, and rejection comes in many different shapes and sizes, many different forms of rejection. Maybe you're like me, 5'6", playing a pickup basketball game, driving down an open lane, about to get this easy layup only for it to be swatted last second by a 6'6" freak athlete. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's embarrassing, but it happens. Or maybe you're finally shooting your shot with this romantic interest you've had for a while, only to find out they're not interested and they turn you down. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I won't pull the punches here. It sucks. It feels like shit. But learning how to handle rejection is a necessary part of life. So back to my basketball example. What do I do when my shot gets blocked? Well, I get tears in my eyes and come up with as many excuses as possible, and I try and call a foul if possible, so that way we can run that back. So it's not my fault. It's they played dirty. And what happens when you get rejected by a romantic interest? You move on. At least that's the healthy way of doing it. Let me show you two unhealthy ways of handling rejection. This girl and this guy were communicating under the impression that maybe this leads to a long-term relationship. That's the context going into these text messages, and it starts, I love it. Oh, baby, I'll service you in your car from now on. Straight up Brazzers storyline type shit. And she responds, ha 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 ha. Let's go on a date before I get serviced. I'll be there Saturday, lol. I'm actually staying the night there too. And then there's a lot of like redacted information here, like a CIA document, so I don't exactly know what was being said in between these, but she says, where do you live? Oh, okay. Got it. So far, things seem to be going well enough. They're making plans. She says, do you have plans for when you're here? And he says, hopefully just you, but no plans other than that. Just needed a breather from my son. I'm going to book a hotel room tonight when my check hits. Which is starting to give off a bit of a weird vibe there. She says, oh, how old is your son? 13. And then he says, maybe you could stay the night. She responds, I don't do that the first night. I'm sorry. And he goes, I don't mean all night, lol. And she's as confused as everyone else would be. So she says, ha 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 ha. What? You said stay the night. I meant like hang out at the room after dinner. Maybe cuddle up. I'm a huge fan of cuddles and the best in the world at giving full body massages. I highly doubt that. I'm going to need some citation for that. I don't believe you. That's not what I usually do after first dates. I just don't think we're on the same page with dating. That's totally okay. Just not a match. So she's taking this in stride, she's like, hey, is what it is. And then he keeps going. Exceptions could be made. What? Lol, what do you mean? I mean dinner. Hang out. And eat between your legs like a Sunday lunch buffet after dinner. Lol. Clap them cheeks too. So she's very gently saying no to this guy. And this is the approach that a lot of dudes take with the car salesman type shit. Don't take no for an answer. So he continues to just keep pushing like, no. What if I, the world's best full body masseuse, give you a happy ending? Where I eat your pussy like corn on the cob. I'll chew on your clit till it bleeds and I bust. How about them? How about that? How does that sound? I'll even clap your cheeks too. As a little added bonus on top of my service. So, when are you coming over? Are you out the door yet? Unsurprisingly, this last-ditch effort didn't work, she says, so you don't know how to listen, cool. Don't make exceptions for men who don't respect my boundaries. Fair enough. She said no, and he continued to be weird about it. It's a really fucked mentality to not accept a no and keep pushing. It's just creepy behavior that's never going to amount to anything positive ever. When someone declines something or tells you no to something, you should really accept that, respect that, and just move on. It's not like you're going to change their mind by being an annoying pest about it. Like, oh, wait, what? Rejection? Wait a minute. You're not thinking this through. What if I clapped your cheeks? You failed to think about that, didn't you? Yeah. So if I clapped your cheeks, now I assume you won't be rejecting me? What do you mean you're calling the police? This one's a masterclass on how to respond to rejection like an unhinged lunatic, so this one's getting extremely angry when getting told no. I don't know what the conversation is here. These two had met on like a dating app and they were talking. He says Mario, so perhaps the question was, who was Luigi trying to save in Luigi's Mansion? I don't know, maybe they were playing a trivia game. She says, okay. She doesn't seem super enthusiastic about that response, so maybe she's not a fan of the Super Mario Brothers. Who knows? But anyway, he says, how was the mall? Get anything good? She says, no, I didn't look. I was just returning something. And then she sends a picture of herself in an outfit. And he goes, oh, that looks really good. Gotta get you some lingerie. Admittedly, I don't exactly know what happened in between the last text we just saw with him flirting and then these. He goes nuclear here. He goes full fucking scorched earth out of nowhere. So I'm thinking that there's some text messages that were exchanged in between these two, so we're just missing an entire chapter of this anime arc that he goes on to reach the villain status. So she says, I don't want to drive to blank for blank, I don't have enough gas. And according to the context she provided, they had apparently had a date scheduled, but she had to cancel last minute because of something school related, and now she was texting him back just to talk today. And there must have been something in between him saying, we gotta get you some lingerie and this. I just don't know what it could be. Maybe he invited her, like, to another place, and she just said, no, I don't have gas for that. But anyway, he responds, oh, alright, that's cool then. Didn't know all that, lol. You said you had some school stuff the other day. Now is gas, lol. You dirty, fat, sloppy, broke piece of shit. You got no gas, but got gas to go to the mall window shopping, lol. Thanks for making my morning, lol. And she just responds, lol. He just desperately tried to spam as much hurtful shit as he could think of quickly, like in a League of Legends game when you get mad that your bottom lane's feeding or something. How else are you going to respond besides just laughing at this pathetic tantrum? So she hits him with a lol, which only sets him off even further, so he sends her picture back to her in order to keep insulting her. Yeah, this shit is funny, lol, fat ass bitch, you pushing what, almost 190, 200? I almost find it fascinating how anytime one of these weirdos gets their feelings hurt, they always resort to just like, well, you're fat anyway. You're fat. Like, it always comes down to that. The second that they get rejected or told no or something's not going swimmingly in their eyes, less than satisfactory, they always default to fatty, that kind of shit, and then just go on this, like, long-winded rant about, like, actually, I'm the nicest guy the world's ever known, and I was doing you a favor by showing interest. You're fat at the end of the day. That's the big... I didn't want you anyway. I'm not crying, you're crying. This one's just a little bonus, a cherry on top of the rejection cake. It's not exactly rejection per se, it's kind of adjacent. So this is somebody's ex who just texted her out of the blue. He says, you dead yet? That 4:22 a.m. crack pipe's hitting a little different today, so he gets bold and brash and says, you dead yet to her. And he doesn't get a response right away, so then tries to get a little more edgy. And then says, I'm going to fuck on top of your grave and smear dog shit on your tombstone. And this does get a response from her. She just says, get a hold of yourself. That line from her made me giggle so hard I had to throw this in here. You have this unhinged weirdo texting at 4:20 a.m. asking if you're dead and then saying that he's gonna smear dog shit on your grave while having sex on top of it. There's so many logical inconsistencies with that. A, who's going to agree to have sex at a cemetery on top of a gravestone? That's just guaranteed to get some like demons and spirits haunting you for life. And B, why would you bring dog shit with you to have sex? Even if you found a willing participant here, I feel like if you brought a bag of dog poop with you, that's immediately going to ruin the mood and you probably won't be having sex. Like, this just doesn't make any sense. This guy's spitting a bunch of nonsense here, a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And she just immediately calls him out on it, saying, just get a hold of yourself, you weirdo. It's so good. I just had to include that in here. Again, it's not exactly rejection per se. Like, it's not in line with the other two, but it's just something that I had to toss in. That's really about it. See ya. It's been a little while since I've gone over some text messages, and I still giggle at them to myself from time to time, but there hasn't been anything truly interesting that's come across my desk until today. This one gave me a big old hoot and a holler here as it aims to tackle the age-old question, how long should you wait after connecting with a human being to graduate from text messages to phone calls? For this one brave soul, that was about an hour. And the results were not optimal, to say the least. This fairy tale starts the way that all the good ones do. They matched on a dating app about an hour ago, and then he reaches out saying hello, and then tries to call them. She responds by saying, hey, smiley face, I'm watching a movie with my parents right now. I'll be able to call in a bit. I'm sorry. She seems super sweet, giving an explanation and even offering an apology for not being able to hop on the hotline right away. And it's not like she owed him an explanation or an apology, it was just a nice gesture. It's a very awful idea to try and call someone that you just met an hour ago. You only became aware of each other's existence like less than 60 minutes ago. He tries to grit his teeth and bear it, but the pain is too much. He says, oh, okay. And it comes across pretty sad. I don't know if he actually was sad here, but it seems to me like I can feel him looking down at the ground while he types that and like kicking some dirt. And I think she picked up on that because she issues another apology, but then says, how's your night going? So she's trying to at least make a conversation out of this, so she seems interested. He goes, no, it's okay. I'm excited to hear your voice though. Maybe send me pics of you? Mine is okay. I'm just chillin'. To me, it sounds like he's fishing for some sacred nudies here. I believe that he's probably in Coomer mode right now. His dick is in DEFCON 5, and now he's requesting some pics. I imagine if she did answer that phone call, it would have just been heavy breathing into it. Like something out of a horror movie. The phone calls coming from inside the house. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just a guy who really enjoys talking over the phone and getting some pictures of the person he's talking to over the other end. Totally innocent pictures. Surprisingly, she doesn't seem creeped out by that. She says, "Aw, that's cute. I'm excited to hear yours too, and yeah, of course, I'll send some pics right now." Which is not the response I thought that would garner. I would have expected some kind of ickiness to it and maybe a question about, like, why? I mean, we've known each other less than 60 minutes. You can just scroll my fucking online dating profile to see some pics of me. His response to her is just, okay, cool. This guy's just very concise, matter of fact. She says, for the pics, do you want like recent ones? Because I have a ton ranging from like 2 weeks ago to like 4 years. He says, yes, but any, frowny face, and then winky frowny face. Every bone in my body is telling me that this dude is absolutely looking for some titty pics. He's looking for some honkers or something here. He's not looking for just like your normal Facebook photos or something you'd post on your Instagram story. He's not looking for you at the movies or something from 2 weeks ago seeing the Winnie the Pooh horror film. He's looking for ass and titties. That's my guess here, especially with like the winky frowny. I don't know why he's frowning so much. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's like an accident. Maybe you want to do like a winky face with a smile. But for some reason, he just keeps accidentally sending frowning faces, including like a winking frown face, which I've never seen before. I don't know how you even like sad wink at something to begin with either. I don't know, just it seems like conflicting emotions there. He then calls her twice within 20 minutes and says, hello, upset. I'm waiting, lol. This guy types like he's playing a MOBA. Like he's typing as quickly as possible just to convey the bare minimum amount of information. Upset. Hello? Okay, cool. Frowny. Winky frowny. Like it's just very basic shit here. He's not actually even having a conversation. It's weird. Yet he keeps really wanting to talk on the phone. I don't know what would have happened if she answered some of these calls. Like maybe he'd just fart into it and hang up while giggling. perhaps, I don't know, like a big prank call, a huge ruse. Anyway, after 2 more failed calls, she says, hey, sorry, I just finished the movie. I wasn't looking at my phone, but I apologize that you're upset, but I just want to be straightforward with you since you were with me. I'm not like a very clingy person, and I'm kind of getting that vibe already, you know? And he goes, no, I just wanted to talk. You can answer or call back. Completely missing the point of what she was saying, just insistent on having this phone call here. It's worse than a telemarketer. This guy just cold turkey calls her out of the blue. She doesn't answer, even issues an apology for not answering, which she didn't owe him, and he is still hung up on that and won't take any new information in. His brain is flooded with one idea. He can only hold one thought in his mind at any time, and right now that thought is, want to talk on phone. Upset if no talk on phone. So he's just stuck in that mode. So she goes, no, I get that. I just like taking things slow if that's okay. And he says, are you scared of connection? You can't talk without thinking it's too fast. Just call Jeez Louise. I have to wonder if she's communicating with a 13-year-old. Jeez Louise? You're dropping Jeez Louise in 2024? This is not what the Lord died for. Are you kidding me with this? Is this some kind of joke? Get out of town. A Jeez Louise in this day and age? He then goes, I could literally call right now. It's so easy. I don't like being ignored. No shit, it's easy to call, but why do you want to do that? And why won't you take no for an answer? You've known each other less than an hour. You don't even know each other. You just both had like a Metal Gear Solid ping that made you alerted that this other person existed, and now you're talking through Snapchat. This actually might be a toddler. Maybe the person that she matched with through Tinder or whatever the online dating app was, maybe they went to an Easter celebration with family, and then their little nephew got a hold of the iPad and then just started talking to some of his contacts, and this lady was one of those victims here. So she's actually just communicating with a legitimate diaper-shitting, milk-snorting little kid. Because no adult, I feel like, communicates this way. I'm starting to really believe in that conspiracy theory here. But anyway, she responds, of course not, but I like to take things slow. I'm sorry. Please respect that I'm trying to be as cordial as possible. I haven't had the best experiences in the past. That's in response to the are you scared of connection line that he drops here. Like he's out of some kind of bad Hallmark movie or The Young and the Restless. Because she won't accept his random fucking phone calls here. And then in response, he tries to call her again. She says, I would like to just text maybe until I'm more comfortable. And his response is, I'm S. And then an audio message. I have to wonder, that's got to be like the worst 26 seconds a microphone has ever recorded. I can only imagine what his voice sounds like. I'm imagining like squealing, high-pitched, nasally, like almost shattered glass level of an opera singer, like with that very high note, but throughout the entire 26 minutes. I also wonder what he was trying to say. I'm S. Maybe that's some kind of code that needs to be deciphered here. I'm serious, perhaps? I'm shitting? I'm silly? I have no idea. But anyway, she then takes a screenshot of the chat, and then he dumps a screenshot. He then follows that up by saying right at the top, and then tries to call her once again, just continuing to poke her here. He says, just wonder, answer. Maybe he's like actually overdosing right now, and he's trying to beg her to call the police to get them over there to save his life. I have no idea what's happening to his brain. It's turning to mush right before our eyes. Like he's getting hit by a stupid beam, and we're watching him fade away. She says, I don't really know what to say. I feel like I'm being backed into a corner right now. He says, stop typing, and then calls her again, which of course she doesn't respond to, and then says, OMG, drops another 26-second audio message, which is interesting that it's the exact same amount of time. I wonder if it's just the same message he dropped again. I'm not really sure. I also wonder what he said during that, to be honest. But anyway, he then says, bye, little baby. Oh, the heebie-jeebies. I'm getting them. Jinkies. Oh, good. Bye, little baby. Oh, yuck. And then she just says, can you please respect my boundaries? I apologize that I said I'd call earlier. I got nervous and I would feel more comfortable texting. If calling is more your thing when you first meet someone, then maybe we just aren't the best match. I wish you luck. Maybe we can try again tomorrow. I'm going to take a shower and head to bed. Good night. I don't know why she would even try and say, like, maybe we can try again tomorrow. She should have just not responded at all because this guy is unhinged. This is just an absolute weirdo and there's no salvaging this. Maybe she was a little fearful of, like, what this guy might do, perhaps, which is a very legitimate fear, so it's best to, like, cushion the blow. But even still, this guy is fucking weird. He then just says, no, like a defeated Power Rangers villain. Because that boundary is silly. I don't care. I'm of interested anymore. Bye. Not. So he's saying, I'm not interested anymore. So because she wouldn't talk on the phone, he's no longer interested and he thinks that boundary is silly, thus he has no respect for it. What a man. And then she says, okay, I apologize again. Hope you have a great night. And then he just says, just say bye. What a quirky little lunatic here. Impressive self-sabotage. Like, this lady seemed more than willing to communicate, like, interested in learning more about him, just didn't really want to hop on a phone call, which is super understandable since they'd only known of each other for less than an hour. She gave so many chances to just stop doing the creepy phone call routine and just text like normal people that are starting to get to know each other through, like, an online dating app. Like, you're not friends and you don't know each other at all. So why the fuck would you want to hop on a phone call first thing right away? That's overwhelming. That's a lot. That's just weird. And he just kept getting creepier and creepier. He fell apart. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to go over this one because it had me giggling quite a bit because, geez Louise, he was off the rails. That's really about it. See ya. Hey, it's been a little while since I've gone over some unhinged text messages. I had the itch, so it's time to scratch it. The backstory to this fairy tale isn't your standard affair. This is two strangers that got stuck in an elevator for about an hour. He eventually asked for her number, and she gave it to him because he didn't give her any weird vibes, no heebie-jeebies. It wasn't like something out of that dog shit horror movie Devil with the elevator or anything. So they started talking through text, and it led to this alarming exchange. He said, "How are you doing today?" She says, "I'm good, thanks, just went for an early morning swim." And then he starts to show his hand a bit. "I'd love to see that. Can I tell you something?" And she's getting suspicious. She's a little on edge here. Yeah. I admit, I was nervous being confined to such a small space with a beautiful woman. And she goes, "Okay, I don't know what to say to that, lol." And he just continues like it's a war story. I feel like I can see him lighting up a cigar as he's saying these things. "The mind wanders. You're lucky you got trapped with a good guy." And she's confused, saying, "What does that even mean?" He was apparently super normal in the elevator, but now over text he's talking like he was Bruce Banner holding back the Hulk in that situation. Saying shit like the mind starts to wander with ellipses there just makes it sound like he was, stranded on an island, ran out of food, and was contemplating cannibalizing the other survivors there to keep himself alive. And he's like writing down the sailor's log. It's too much for me to bear right now. My mind, it starts to wander. I'm losing myself on this island. I'm going to slit the throat of the former captain and feed on his insides. Lord help us all. He continues, "Don't worry. I don't intend on harming you in any way." Which is a very reassuring thing to hear out of the blue. Listen, ma'am, I'm not approaching you with violent intent. I want to make that clear right now. I know you may have had it in your head that I was going to kill you. I want to put your mind at ease. I was never even contemplating murder. Or rape, for that matter. I was simply explaining that any warm-blooded male would be tested in that situation. Dude's trying to explain this like he's John Madden here. Appreciate the breakdown though, Reddit mod. Any warm-blooded male would be tested in that situation? What do you think would have happened? Like, the elevator malfunctions, you're stuck in there for a little bit, and what, he's just gonna turn into some kind of feral beast that's gonna be tearing her limb from limb like a wild animal? Just the instant the elevator stops moving, just something goes awry in the male brain, and they turn into the Tasmanian devil, making, like, Jujutsu Kaisen cursed spirit sounds as they charge at the woman that's stuck in there with them. But luckily, she was trapped in there with a good guy. Not like those other red-blooded males or cold-blooded male. What did he say? Hemoglobin-blooded males? What? I've already fucking forgot. But he's just being chivalrous here and reminding her how lucky she was, all the stars aligned, to put her in the perfect position to be stuck on an elevator with a stranger that's as gentle and as nice as this guy, who had no intentions of harming her in any way whatsoever. She hits him with some question marks going, "I'm not following." Because, I mean, this is all reading like a threat at the moment. And he says, "Don't worry." Which is cause for concern. Definitely going to start worrying. He says, "You have the perfect body. Those small breasts and soft, thick thighs leading to that voluptuous ass are delightful. Thank you for existing. Thank you for your service of pleasing my eyes in that elevator, madame. I tip my fedora to you on this good day." And she just says, "And now I shall cease to exist in your life. See ya." That was the correct decision there, just to block them and hopefully never see them again in your life. That's probably the safest thing to do, because this whole thing makes it sound like he was considering rape or something and then decided against it, how he had to, like, fight against that urge that other warm-blooded males would have succumbed to or something. It's fucking weird. This guy is a weirdo. And here's another weirdo in a similar fashion where it's a complete stranger that just goes fucking insano style out of nowhere on someone else that is also still a stranger. These two are co-workers. They've been working together for about a week and they play online games together in like a group with other co-workers. So they're not like friends or anything. They have barely known each other. He texts her saying, "Kaylee, we care about you. Care. Please answer. I'm so sorry. Please talk to me." Now, I want to be clear, this is one person saying this, so I don't know why he's saying, "We care about you." This is like some Schmeagol shit with my precious. You know, we got Gollum coming in right now. And she says, "It's okay. I'm not mad." And he goes, "Please just talk to me. I cared about you. Still do." And she says, "Thanks. You too, dude." He continues to spiral. "Why are you acting like that? I'm here for you. No matter what. Can we just talk on the phone? Just you and me?" He's throwing up the desperate full court shot here to try and get the buzzer beater to win the game. I don't know what he would expect here. Obviously, she's not going to take that call. You don't know each other, and you're already being, like, obsessive. That was never in the cards. But let's assume she did. What were you planning on saying to her? Yes, milady, thank you so much for accepting my call. I love you. When can we fuck?" "Honestly, you're creeping me out. I've known you for 1 day at most. Stop." "If that's how you see it, then fine. I really cared." I mean, that's how the world sees it. Like that's how time works. Like, you haven't known each other for long at all. It's like there's only one way of seeing it, and it's that you guys don't know each other at all. "You're acting like we're best friends, and I've only known you for what, a week? This is extremely weird behavior that I won't deal with." "It's okay. I'll find someone redacted. At least she's nice to me." Which is another one of their co-workers that he's now mentioning. Also, the poster here said that she mentioned to that co-worker that he name-dropped there about his weird behavior just to keep her in the loop, because this guy seems fucking unwell. And she replies, "Nah, what are you talking about? I was never interested in you." "Okay, fair. She was way better. Nice, at least. I was so nice to you and was even open to us." Which I don't really know what that means. Like, what does he, like, trauma dump on her while they're playing games together in ARAM? Like, I don't know. What does that mean? Open to us? Or like maybe he was open to being us, like a unit, a relationship perhaps? Man, that's generous. He was even open to dating her. Wow, he really was such a fucking gentle sir. I can least admit that I cared at one point. I don't want to fucking fight. Neither does she. She doesn't want to talk to you, like, in general. He's just making it sound like they're already in a relationship going through a problem, even though they are complete strangers to one another. "I'm telling you to leave me alone, so leave me alone." And he just keeps saying, "I cared about you, dude, like, seriously. Everyone can tell you cared. You are obsessed. You are legitimately enamored with a complete stranger and being creepy about it. Everyone knows that's not like that's not something that's a good thing to be saying so much here. I will go to blank and report you. I don't fucking know you. I cared. It's weird pretending to be strangers, but honestly, fuck you. They can fire me. I have a better job for 26 an hour." That's how all of these go. "You know what? I don't care. I never liked you anyway. You were gross and yucky anyway. You were poopy. You stink. Big stink. I don't like you anyway. You were lucky I was ever even talking to you. They can fire me. I have a better job anyway at 26 an hour. In fucking Narnia. My other job's so much better. Let them fire me. Tell them. Get me in trouble. I actually want it, so I can go to my other job full time and leave you behind. I'm happier there anyway. I cared. My only crime was I cared." I love how he says it's weird pretending to be strangers when they are strangers. She's not pretending. Like, that's just the reality of the situation, not like the delusional thing that he's married himself to in his mind. They are strangers. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about these because they had me giggling a little bit today. That's really about it. So yeah. These are without a doubt the craziest text messages I've ever covered, and I know that might be hard for some of you to believe considering all of the wackos we've gone over, but trust me, this takes the cake of lunacy. They are so outrageous that I at one point threw my hands in the air and said, enough is enough, fiddlesticks, this is fake. It has to be fake. It's too ridiculous. So I did a little bit of digging, and it seemed other people also thought that they might be fake. So after going through the evidence they compiled, it turns out that this is most likely real. The person that these posts seem to originate from actually did show up apparently in some court documents confirming a divorce. So from what I can tell here, it does seem like these are real, and the story here is legitimate, which is so fucking sad. And the man in these messages needs to be confined to Arkham Asylum ASAP. Dude needs his own personal padded cell, and you're about to see why. All of this hoopla starts because a mother breastfed her child. The husband says, "You've been breastfeeding? You know how I fucking feel about that." She replies, "What time are you coming back?" He says, "I don't know if I am." She says, "Why, are you mad at me?" "Yes." "What did I do? It's just the breastfeeding?" "That. The feelings it gives me and how I finally understand that you truly don't respect me." And she says, "I do respect you. I just thought we could compromise about the breastfeeding. Talk about it. If you don't like seeing it, maybe I can just do it in a different room." Weirdo's mad because the mother of his child is breastfeeding that child. Is there a worse possible reason on this planet for anger? I can't think of a single reason any sane human being would be upset about something like that. Unless it's like some kind of crazy situation like, "Hey honey, I just got some phone calls from some concerned parents. Apparently you tried to breastfeed our son Geronimo at the football game. He's 15 years old. Maybe it's about time we wean him off of that. We're scaring the other parents here." But this, they're talking about a newborn baby. She's still in the hospital with the newborn. He continues, "Well, we didn't talk about it, you just did it. And it's not about seeing it, I know it's happening. I'm done." Done? "Let me know when you're being discharged and I'll be there." Like, you're divorcing me? You go behind my back and do something I've stressed about not doing. That's no different than lying and shows how little you respect me. I wasn't meaning to disrespect you, I just wanted to give Wilder breast milk since he was born early, and I know it's the best thing for him with the antibodies and other stuff he'll get from it. The only thing wilder than that name is the husband's brain-rotted brain. Absolute delusion here to be making a huge stink about her breastfeeding a newborn. So, the name Wilder, and you're about to see they actually have another child named Hunter, spelled with a Y. Those two names really set off my bullshit alarms. Like, it was really giving me the heebie-jeebies of, this is fucking fish paste. This is baloney. But again, from what I've seen with what people have found, because the original poster and everything, people did a lot of super sleuthing. From what's been put out there, it does seem like it's legitimate. He continues his rampage, saying he's not a preemie, he was born at full term, it's still unneeded, he's still bigger than I was when I was born, and you could have always asked the nurses for a pump. It's a proven scientific fact that breast milk is no better than modern formula. He's wrong about that, by the way. Modern formula is fine for women that don't want to breastfeed or can't. I decided to fact check that claim, do a little research on it. Turns out it's not a scientific fact. You know what is a scientific fact, though? That this man is clinically insane. So keep in mind, I am not a breast milk scientist. I'm not a connoisseur of boob juice. I'm not the lactation lord. But from the bits and pieces I read about breast milk versus formula, it seems that breast milk is still the most recommended way of getting nutrients to your baby, if possible. She says, I know, but the benefits of the breast milk still outweigh the formula. Latching helps drop the milk better than the pumps. He says, yeah, the benefits to where I'll never be able to look at you the same way again. She's confused, as everyone listening and reading this is right now, scratching their head, wondering what the fuck is wrong with this weirdo. She says, what do you mean? You think I'm a bad mom for breastfeeding? And he says, I think you're a bad wife. I think you don't respect me. I think you took a joy away from me. I think a lot of things. Took a joy from you? I don't understand what you mean. Formula can still be used. And this is where he drops the bombshell. He reveals where all of this anger and hostility comes from. I enjoy your boobs. Now they've been in another man's mouth. I now no longer enjoy your boobs. He goes Neanderthal mode. Boob sucked by baby. Boob no good to me now. No want tit no more. His own child he views as competition because his newborn son suckled his mother's bosom for milk. The most natural thing throughout human history. And somehow this psychopath thinks that his newborn has now tainted his wife's boobs and he can no longer enjoy them, saying that they were in another man's mouth. Wait until he finds out where that baby came from, because that baby came out of his wife's vagina. Well, actually, I guess that's not true. I bet there is a non-zero chance that this unhinged maniac forced his wife to get a C-section, so that way her vagina wasn't ruined by another man. I bet there's actually a really high likelihood that that's exactly what happened. And that's scary. This dude is so fucking red-pilled, he won't even let his own newborn son touch his wife's body. I bet he also wouldn't even let his wife change their son's diapers, because he views them as competition. He'd bust into the room, I know what you did, bitch! You looked at another man's wiener when you changed Wilder's diaper, didn't you? And just starts profusely crying, probably calls her like a cheater or something if she changes their son's diapers. This guy is so mentally unwell, I was stunned. Like I said, I couldn't believe this was real. She tries to talk sensibly to him. Just Wilder's, not another man. Their baby, their actual baby goo goo gaga infant is who we're talking about here, not a man. He views an actual, 2-day-old as a man? What the fuck? But anyway, he says, he's a male, and your son. That makes it incestuous in my eyes. And she says, it's not like that at all. And then he goes, I'm not saying anything I haven't told you before. So this man was probably riddled with red flags for a long time in this relationship, and now he is just breaking. Just melting down. That's definitely one of the most unhinged things I've probably ever seen anyone try and say. That breastfeeding your own child is incestuous. There are so many things wrong with that. I don't even know where to begin. It is so shockingly stupid. This guy needs to be put away. He needs to be institutionalized. ASAP. Dude must think that all the days pre-baby formula, so, the thousands of years BF before formula, it was all just incest with people breastfeeding their newborns. This guy is so dangerously disconnected from reality, it is scary. He is a loose cannon on the edge that is snapping. I'm going to spoil a little bit here and just let you know, he divorces his wife over her breastfeeding their child. Just let that marinate for a second. Sit and stew in it. That is insane. That is crazy. Let me pose a question to this individual. I blanked out his name, but I really want to call him by name. But I'd love to pose a question to him. Does he realize how fucking degenerate this is and how much of a pervert you must be to view a newborn baby as a man that is a competition to you? And it's not even like a random baby either. Not like that would make it excusable. Like, anyone who would go out there and view a baby as competition because they're getting breastfed is very fucked in the head. But this is another level of fucked because it's his own child. He fucking blew that load into the world. This is his DNA in there. And he immediately views it as some kind of sexual competition with his own kid. That's so weird. He is a menace. He is a menace. She leaves out some of the conversation here. I imagine it got way too personal with some of the information that was conveyed. But it starts here saying, I wasn't playing. She says, I know. You are a bitch for making matters worse. I'm sorry you feel that way towards me. I doubt they're going to let me bring y'all home, so good luck finding out or figuring out a way to make that happen. I just felt it would be okay to breastfeed Wilder and we could compromise a situation where you don't have to be in the room. You don't get it. I told you that with Hunter. Huntier. The way Hunter is spelled is so peculiar. Again, that's what really made me put on my fedora and do a Reddit deep dive on where this picture came from, who posted it, and if it was real, because these two names really just make it seem like it's rage bait or some kind of joke. But again, there is quite a bit of evidence that points to it being legitimate. He continues, "That was a compromise you made then, and I still feel the same way about it. After you heal and get on your feet and are able to afford your own place, move out. Until then, no matter how long it takes, the bedroom is all yours. I'll set up an air mattress in Wilder's room tomorrow." Letting this fungus anywhere near their child seems like a recipe for disaster. He already views Wilder, his newborn son, as competition. Him staying in the same room as Wilder, I think, is just a terrible, terrible idea. Because it really does seem like he thinks that his wife has cheated on him now by breastfeeding their son. He's calling her, disrespectful, doesn't have any respect for him and what he wishes because he told her not to breastfeed because now he can't enjoy her boobs anymore. It's all just ruined. It's all kaput. All because Wilder was breastfed by her. So I really think having him anywhere near these kids is a bad idea. Fuck you, we're done. I'm going to talk to a lawyer about 50-50 custody because no matter how much I hate you, I would never keep the boys from you. You can stay at the house for as ever long as you need. I'll sleep in Wilder's room. I'm going to pause right there. You absolute goober. You goofball. You really think that you would get 100% of custody here? He's like, okay, since I'm such a benevolent saint, I will grant you 50-50 custody of our kids. Even though I hate you, you can see them sometimes, you disrespectful harlot. Brother, I'm going to give you the truth here. Brace for the cold water. Here it comes. If anyone, especially a lawyer, saw these text messages as well as the threats that the hospital was made aware of, you would never be around these kids. Rightfully so. It's unsafe to have them around you. You are deranged. You are absolutely fucking filthy. So I don't know why he thinks he would get 50-50 custody, that'd be his call to make. He replies to something she said that isn't in these screenshots. She said, "They made a report because of what happened the first night I stayed in the hospital." I'm guessing he exploded then too about something. And he replies saying, "Not what they said. They didn't know anything about last week. They said because you told them this morning you didn't feel safe with me in the room and wanted me to leave." And she says, "I just didn't want to fight over me breastfeeding. Fuck you. I told you when we fought over it with Hunter I would leave you if you did it." This has been his worst nightmare, having a child that gets breastfed. This has to be, with no exaggeration, the most insecure man on the planet. Bar none. No one else would even come close. He is so insecure that he worries that his own flesh and blood is a threat to him because they get breastfed by his wife. Wow. So again, this is so over the top that I questioned its authenticity. And as sad as it is, it seems like it's real. And he, from what I can see, was the one to start pushing forward the divorce. That's the best thing for the mother and her children, 100%, and I'm sure she'll realize that down the line. It's probably very difficult right now. But man, this guy is bad news. What a terrible piece of shit. I just had to talk about these. I was blown away by what I was reading going through this. I just had to share it. That's really about it. Awful situation. I'm wishing the best for the mother and the kids here. And the best thing that can happen with this guy is he gets put in a straitjacket and goes somewhere far, far away. Because I don't know how you even fix that perspective. This guy is so lost in the sauce. There is no getting him back. It's insalvageable. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya. Flirting with someone can oftentimes be challenging, and occasionally the only winning move is not to play. Sometimes it's best just to spam emotes and see how that goes. And today I want to take you on a journey. It's a 2-part epic like Homer's Odyssey, but if Homer had written about a weirdo who's desperately trying to make a woman fall in love with him by calling her autistic. Now the backstory here, I'll go ahead and give you the cliff notes of the prequel. This gentle sir protagonist has just joined a new friend group and has found particular interest in this woman, and he reaches out to her trying to talk to her, saying, I'll be honest with you, I don't understand you. And then he just goes on to say that she's quiet and he doesn't know anything about her other than she likes potatoes in the town of Salem, and that he just laments that he just doesn't know anything about her and she doesn't make eye contact with him. She asks, does that bother you? And he says no, which is a big fib right there. Lying is a sin and now he's condemned straight to hell. This clearly bothers him because he melts down about it. He also doesn't keep that charade up for long. He immediately folds and says, I mean, somewhat, yeah. It actually hurts a lot. It keeps me up at night. I actually can't sleep. I'm crying all the time because of it. But it's a normal human response, so you can't blame me. Too late. I'm already blaming you. Can I ask a blunt question? She says, sure. And he says, are you autistic? Man, the Riz Lord has struck like a lightning bolt here. If those panties aren't sodden after that blunt question, I just don't know what works anymore. She says, no, are you? And he goes, lol, no. So what do you think about me? She says, in what way? He seems to get kind of offended by that, so he snaps like a Redditor adjusting his fedora. It's a simple question. What do you think about me? Madame, it's actually quite elementary, honestly. What do you think about me as a lover? She pulls no punches and just goes, I don't really think of you, so not sure how to answer that. That was quite the fucking biblical smackdown right there. And he says, Jesus. Okay, I'll try something else. Why? At that point, you should just be like, yep, that didn't work. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go solo queue in League of Legends and wash away my troubles. I don't know why he's gonna try something else. But he goes, why do you never laugh at my jokes? Not that I'm trying to make you in particular laugh. Why is it so hard to make conversation with you? It's like I'm reading text messages from Timmy Turner to Trixie. What do you mean, why do you never laugh at my jokes? I wonder what the dynamic of the friend group is like with this guy in there. Does he try to be like the class clown or something? So, for context, she is 23 years old, he is 24 years old, and I imagine the rest of the friend group is in that early 20s ballpark. So these aren't children, these are adults. And he's like, why do you never laugh at my jokes? I told you to pull my finger and I tooted. And you didn't even giggle. What am I supposed to do? This is side-splitting comedy. Come on. Why is it so hard to make conversation with you? Are you autistic? He just texts so juvenile. What do you think about me? Do you like me? Circle yes or no. Or you're autistic. And then he runs away. She responds saying, I'm more of a listener. Don't take it personal. I'm just shy, I guess. And then he immediately takes it personal. There's gotta be a reason. I'm better looking and more successful than 90% of the men you know. So what's your type? I want to get to know you. He's desperate. He's on his knees right now, shaking his hands. I must know. There's gotta be a reason. And she says, my type is a man who doesn't ask me if I'm autistic. I mean, that's pretty picky. Come on. Well, you're looking for a unicorn here. All good men accuse the women they're trying to win over of being autistic at some point. It's standard protocol. This guy's just following the textbook formula. He then says, can you blame me for assuming that? What the fuck? Yes, absolutely. That's a crazy thing to assume about someone, especially considering his whole purpose of the conversation was trying to get laid. He's romantically interested in this person, and his way of spitting game is to ask if they're autistic. That's such a weird thing to do. And then he goes, don't get me wrong, you're pretty, but I definitely considered the possibility you're autistic or definitely on the spectrum somewhere. One of the number one signs of autism is not laughing at this guy's jokes. So he looked it up on WebMD and he was just, for her own sake, concerned for her well-being. He's actually looking out for her. She says, lol, what? Reflect on your words when you go to bed tonight. See ya. Just trying to end this conversation because it's going downhill so quick. This is an avalanche of dog shit. And he just goes, wow. Owen Wilson's there for a moment and then just says, I think you're jealous I spent the night with redacted and you went home alone. This is classic. When everything goes tits up, it's like, you're actually just super jealous of me because I'm slamming ham on the regular. I'm fucking your friends. I am having sex with women that want me because it's impossible for a woman not to want me. You just must be autistic. That's what's going on here. And you're jealous now. You're the problem, not me. And you're lucky that I even gave you the time of day. Your loss. He then clears the air here, making sure that it doesn't trouble her mind that Casanova is spoken for, and he also doesn't want any rumors to spread in the friend group, so he clarifies, "Don't worry, nothing happened. We just watched Netflix in bed. No need to be jealous," and then drop this emoji. I have a hunch she really wasn't jealous. Just a guess. She doesn't seem interested. And I think you have ensured that she will never be interested by trying to, diagnose her with autism through text message flirting. Now, the next day, she made a follow-up post because he had an even bigger, psychotic break here. So that was all part one. Part two, he comes back bigger and badder than ever here. The sequel went insano style. So he texts her saying, "What's your problem? Is this some sort of trauma response?" Crying, laughing emoji, which I don't think there was any laughing, just crying behind the phone on this one. "I just don't get it," blank, using her name. "I've known you since March 12th, and for whatever God knows what reason, you decide to treat me like complete shit. You hug Redacted and Redacted, but not me. You share a couch with Redacted, but when I join, you get up and leave. Do you think I'm fucking stupid? Or blind? Or what? The fuck did I ever do to you? I'm pissed off because you're clueless and extremely oblivious to the point you don't appreciate a good thing when it's directly in your face." What the hell is even that, brother? A good thing when it's directly in your face? The only thing that's directly in her face is your accusations that she might be autistic. What are you talking about? You're LARPing as her, doctor, and nothing else. Even just setting aside the baffling autism accusations, there's no even semblance of romance behind his texts. They're just aggressive. And nothing beyond that. They're just weird. So I don't know why he's thinking that he's doing such a good job with the game that she should be enamored with him. But then he just goes, "I just, period, don't, period, get, period, it, period." Goes full-blown rock bottom. "I just don't get it. Help me understand her name." He keeps repeating her name. So he just keeps saying it over and over again. Just saying her name in these texts. And she just says, "Lol, what?" She says, "Are you fighting yourself right now? Am I involved in this argument?" Man, she is just absolutely slapping this guy. It's so good. Yeah, I mean, this guy's just fighting his inner demons here. This man's battling ghosts in the paranormal dimension. He says, "This is all about you," her name. "Stop acting so obtuse. You may not be autistic, but you sure act like you're into trains or some shit." I don't know what is going on in his fucking frontal lobe here. It just gets worse and worse. She says, "LMAO, why do you keep saying my name? Trains are cool. Is there some unresolved childhood trauma I need to know about? Because what the fuck is your problem? I can help you out if that's the case, but you have to let me take the first step and stop being so guarded all the damn time. It's impossible to get through to you." Why would you be asking about these things? If there's some childhood trauma, I need to know about it. Also, let's just go ahead and assume she's like, "You know what, there is some childhood trauma," and then she, spills her guts to him. This would be, the worst person to confide anything in. This is a guy who's already having a conniption because she doesn't laugh at his jokes and doesn't make eye contact enough with him. I highly doubt he would be a good confidant for anything heavy. This guy would immediately be like, "Oh, well, childhood trauma, it's another symptom of autism. It's ridiculous. You're lucky you have me around, honestly." Says her name again, which is so creepy. He just keeps throwing her name into every message he sends as if it's some kind of, dramatic moment in a television series. "Please, I know you hear it all the time, but you're very pretty. I like you when you're not acting like an autistic, frigid bitch. Respectfully." Hey, that silver tongue's coming out in full effect right now. He's becoming irresistible. March 12th, and I haven't proven myself enough to you yet. Real quick, March 12th is not that long. It's not like you've fucking known her your whole life or anything. What are you expecting to do in this span of time to make her fall in love with you? What do you mean you haven't proven yourself enough to her yet? What are you trying to do, backflips and shit? Do you just keep trying to tell, the worst jokes imaginable, hoping to get some kind of pity giggle out of her? It's so incomprehensible. He thinks that it's been such a long time. You've been single all this time. Ages. Almost 2 months you've been single. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. It's extremely suspicious, actually. Why would a girl like you be single? What are you hiding? I don't understand what you want, in all honesty, lol. First step of what? Referring to his previous message where he asked her to, or when he said that he wants to take the first step, but she needs to let him. She teases him with some sarcasm here. LMAO, okay, I'm hiding so much, dude. First step of our potential. He's already envisioned 5 different universes where you two are madly in love, and the potential it's incalculable. I can make your life 10 times better than it is now. I'm so sure of that, I'd give that to you in writing, which is legally binding through text messages. You're beautiful, her name again, and I'm what you want in a guy, correct? Incorrect. Where did he even get that assumption from? I'm exactly what you want in a guy, right? The one who just keeps accusing you of being autistic? That's what you're looking for, isn't it? No? Well, I guess you have some unresolved childhood trauma then, and you're just a frigid bitch, I suppose. And then he just says, you're joking. You're performing. He can't accept that she wouldn't be interested in him. You're putting on a teach me a lesson or something stupid, lol. I don't for a second believe you. Her name again. What does that mean? You're putting on a teach me a lesson? What is that? I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. I don't have to date you just because you find me physically attractive. That's like consent 101. Believe what you want. Don't forget, I'm suspicious. Yeah, you are, because there's no way you're single. You either have a severe mental disorder or asexual. And she says, so anyone who's not into you falls under that category, LMAO. Interesting. I love so many things about you. Her name again. The way that his mind is able to switch gears is pretty impressive here. You must have a severe mental disorder. I love so many things about you, schnookums. Oh, sweet pea. Oh my goodness, I just want to cuddle up inside you and let our bodies perform fucking friction on each other till we start a fire with our love. Genuinely, I love you as a friend, and I love you as a person. I want to make you smile. Smile emoji. That's so cringe. Oh, that's so fucking bad. I want to make you smile. Like this. See Exhibit A, for example. It's the smiling emoji with a little blush. Oh... He's trying to be mushy here after insulting her, doing nothing but insulting her for the entire, 2-day conversation. What's your height, by the way? All of my exes have been 5'9 plus, so taller than you, Winky. But you have gorgeous eyes and tasty lips for sure. You look healthy. You make me want to become a daddy. Who took his phone? Who did he just give his phone to? This can't be the same guy. This is full-blown Jekyll and Hyde. It cannot be the fucking same guy. Literally, the previous message before he tried this approach was saying that she must have some kind of severe mental disorder or be asexual because she's still single after 2 months. Oh boy. Jiminy Christmas. So, this is going to be a shocker, but that's the last time they communicated, at least as of right now. She shared the text messages with the rest of the friend group, and they found him to be extremely obnoxious and creepy, so apparently they kicked him out and they don't really talk to him. Can't imagine why. Seems like such a good, stable individual, I suppose. Yeah, I just wanted to share this a little bit. If you're going to try and flirt with someone, maybe don't follow this guy's roadmap. Not very effective. That's about it. So yeah. Hey there, it's been a little while since I showed you text messages from an unhinged weirdo. I thought we were long overdue, so let's just dive right into it, huh? A little bit of context before we begin our adventure. This is a co-worker who's about to make an ice cream cone in the Florida weather and melt down over absolutely nothing. Also, there's a Discord message that came through at the same time they screenshotted this from someone named Bastard. I don't know the whole story around that. I guess they're being contacted by Austin Powers or something, but it's not pertinent to the journey we're about to go on. So the co-worker says, "You get home okay? I just got home myself." To which they reply, "Leaving the bar now." "Well, I'm home and awake if you want to come by, lol." Drops his address. "If you want." I love that he uses this emoji. Usually it's like a winky from these awful pickup attempts, but he decided to be a little innovative there with one of these. I'm half surprised he didn't just send a dick pic or something at that point, like, "Hey, you're just leaving the bar, right? Do you want to come over, lol?" No big deal if not, I'm just putting lotion on my meat and then sending photo evidence of it. Shockingly, he doesn't get a response, so he has to spend the night kissing his pillow and going to bed sad, but he comes around the following afternoon saying, "Sorry, those last few texts were meant for a buddy at the bar that I didn't want to drive too far home if he was too drunk, and then when I called him it went to you by mistake. But yes, Hope you got home okay as well. It's very important I mention this guy is 40 years old, and he is texting like an actual child. That tactic right there, I am sure everyone watching this has experienced at one point in their life, where you send a message to someone and you're like immediately embarrassed, so then you come up with a response like, oh sorry, that wasn't me that sent that message, that was a buddy of mine, he just hacked into my phone and sent you that by mistake. I would never say that I liked you, or that's gross, that's yucky. Wasn't me. I wasn't trying to invite you over to my house or anything. That was meant for a friend of mine who was super drunk, and I was just trying to save his life is all. Like, I'm actually a hero. I'm a super good guy. That message was truly a crazy mistake. Things then get super weird because he comes back the following day and says, yes, my friend, ... It's a shame, ... That's so cringe. It's like a Reddit mod cosplaying as some kind of Saturday morning cartoon villain doing this with their hands. Yes, my friend, it's a shame. Ah, Sonic the Hedgehog, you've come to my lair. What a shame you didn't see through my plan. It's so odd and embarrassing reading that. Always have been told what a gentleman I am, and he puts his pinky out, no doubt, when he typed that message. I can actually smell him through these. I mean, the physical stuff was both of us, I don't regret that, but the lingering bothered me because I think of a lot of you. I think a lot of you, as in the quality of person you are. No response. So you're gonna soon realize that he's actually illiterate. His weird dweeb speech didn't quite work with the yes my friend angle, still no response. So he tries again at 4:41 a.m. saying, hey you. And then he comes back shortly after saying, you honestly creep me out. Our bar is suffering for the first time since 2016 because we have a selling sandwich worker. I don't know what the fuck he's even trying to say. Sure, you could learn, but it's all a joke to you. You're an idiot if you think my natural personality was like that. You fucking grabbed neck. So, the dam's beginning to break here. Pandora's box is opened, and every single emotion is flooding out of him right now, and the only one left inside of that box is sanity. He has forsaken sanity here. He immediately starts living in delusion and just spouting fucking gobbledygook. It's absolute garbage. I do love, however, that he says that they creep him out because they didn't respond to his 441 hey you booty call text. That just sent him over the edge like, this makes no sense, this is incomprehensible. You really give me the heebie-jeebies. What is wrong with you? You didn't respond to my 4:41 a.m. text message? That's ridiculous. Everybody texts me at 4:41 a.m. That's like the most optimal time to text, and the fact that you didn't tells me that there is something evil afoot here. You're not right. Oh, also, I should probably explain that last cryptic message he sent with, you fucking grab neck. So, what that is, the poster explained a little more in the comments. Apparently, they had given him a ride back at some point to his apartment, and he refused to leave the car and insisted that they go to his apartment together, but that obviously wasn't flying here. So, since he refused to get out of the car on his own power, it led to like some kind of like actually aggressive struggle where his neck may have been grabbed and like pushed out of the car or whatever. So that's what that is. Can't see the top part of the text, but it ends with tweaking, which is super accurate to what's happening right now. And he responds, is this a group chat? Accept the rejection, learn from it, move on. Also, begging to go on another date with me is cringe as fuck. I'm tired of taking losers and try to help them so our restaurant didn't look like fools. Doesn't. Date? Laughing, crying emojis. I feel bad for you, You. Okay, bye. Laughing, crying emojis. You are, what, 22 and act like 15. There is no date. Laughing, crying emojis. Thank God I finally got John here. I don't know who John is, but hey, fist bump to John. The savior has arrived. John is saving the day. There has never been a date. ... My God. ... What kind of weird-ass life do you live? ... I said we have crackheads at work and maybe we can go outside... and maybe we can go out besides that... If you didn't see that on Saturday night with the convict you are still and idiot and not who I talked to you about thinking you are mature and different... You are just a basic Lucy fly we have to deal with. The fuck is a Lucy fly? A loose fly? Loose fly? I don't know what that... I'm no zoologist, and I don't feel like looking it up. Scratch that, I just went back on my word there. I did look it up. Nothing appeared on Google search. Even Google was like, are you fucking dumb? Hey, excuse me, Charles, did you mean to Google this nonsense mumbo-jumbo? Loose fly, are you stupid? So I don't even know what word he was trying to put there, because there is nothing that even remotely pops up to explain that. By the way, the tweaking is on purpose to mock these idiots. Crying laughing emoji. I'm still is the Marine Reserves. In. Trying to read his text messages is like trying to read Finnegan's Wake. This shit is incomprehensible. He is so angry, he actually can't type. He's just seeing red, and he's like actually trembling, fucking tweaking as he's trying to send these messages. But according to him, the tweaking is all an act. He's only pretending to be a tweaker to make fun of the real tweakers. We couldn't possibly begin to understand his galaxy brain scheme. He's 5 levels ahead of the rest of us simpletons. Damn, imagine being 40 and still illiterate and pathetic. Take care. Illiterate? Let me out it this way. I'm assuming he meant let me put it this way, but he immediately blew it. So after following up illiterate allegations, he proves them true right away. You've accused me of being illiterate? Well, check this out. How illiterate is that for you? Question mark. Crying laughing emoji. You cannot be this dumb. I am mocking the way you talk. I would love to, like, get a peek inside of that noodle of his. What a very special brain. No, I'm not tweaking. I'm making fun of tweakers by pretending to be one. No, I'm not illiterate. I'm making fun of you. I'm making fun of the way you talk with my illiteracy. What don't you understand? You're so stupid, you can't even see that. Haha, I feel bad for you. Haha. I am 40. Served my country and stepfather well. Brother, I don't... What? You served your stepfather well. Where is that even coming from? Who asked? What ghost are you engaged with right now in this conversation? Like, what the fuck? I'm 40 years old and I served my stepfather so goddamn well. Why didn't he love me, huh? Why? You are a punk ass that thinks this is a joke. He know you have no bartending experience. I love the... Like, this has to be on purpose. He know you have no. Instead of just using N-O, it's K-N-O-W. No. This is so interesting. It's like a game of Mad Libs. It's so weird. He takes a shot on losers and hopes they do well. We have had some that turned their life around and helped us. Then we have the new age shit like ... Fill in the blank. But it's obviously becoming you as well, that you have no bartending experience, correcting his grammatical mistake as any scholar would do. You want to put some of the group chat? Put this. You want to put some on the group chat? Put this. Why? Be careful what you ask for. Why? So, like, he's self-aware enough in this rage to recognize how stupid he looks and knowing that this is going to be shared with other coworkers, I suppose, and just continues to keep digging a hole. Because personally, I call out every loser or anyone that makes us suck. I don't know if he meant to say sick, or if he's like, you're the reason this restaurant sucks. We suck 'cause of you, not me. I work hard, damn it. They reply saying, everyone knows I'm bartending for fun, and I have no prior experience. Seems like you're the only one with a problem with this. Everyone? Yeah. Are bartending for fun? You are bartending for fun? Fuck you. Stay away. This restaurant isn't for fun. It's a business, and we take pride in it. This is like actual We Are Walmart energy here. There's nothing wrong with taking pride in your job. I actually think that's an incredibly admirable thing. But to this level, where it's like almost delusional that this restaurant has become a part of your identity, when it's not a restaurant you own, this is just this is just a coworker. This is just someone that works there, I'm pretty sure. So it's not like it's his restaurant that's being insulted or anything, and this guy is about to go to fucking war for it. Who the fuck is everyone anyway? I train. Then, God forbid, the last couple months we had these losers train bar. And there is Joe. Who's Joe? Where's Joe? Joe Mama? What, like Joe Blow? Like what is this? We've got John coming out of nowhere, which is like this guy's saint. Now we got Joe, and the way he's talking about it, I guess Joe's not a good guy. That's one of the villains we should be rooting against. I don't know. None of this is for fun. It's family. It's work. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and you just proved my point of why I don't like certain people that mock our restaurant. Are you done harassing me? I feel like as he was typing that last sentence there, you just proved my point of why I don't like people who mock our restaurant. He was charging up one of these. Why I oughta. Getting ready to get the knuckle sandwich deployed. No, the drug videos are enough. Good night. That came out of nowhere. I don't know what drug videos he's referring to. The poster also doesn't know, apparently. Thanks for repping blank. And bring your trash to us. That's why he hired you, not because you worked for fun. We thought you had pride. Once again, please stop. Bringing your trash. The amount of times that he corrects himself, it's like a fucking English professor in a middle school. Like, just coming through with grammatical corrections throughout the paper with the red pen. And please, please, put our work group chat that you... And please, please, put our work group chat that you bartending is just for fun. ... Just like the video of you doing drugs will go to the VP of USAA. Actually, I don't like you. Just as a military Marine vet will do it on my own. I will do it on my own. That doesn't clear up the confusion with the statement. So, let's assume he's telling the truth here. Like he has videos of this coworker doing drugs. What are you gonna do with that? Like, he's trying to be like a hall monitor here, but like, what... Are you going to report it to the police? Because, like, I don't think they're going to act on it. Like, my coworker smoked weed, here's proof. But he doesn't even say that. He's like, I'm going to the VP of USAA. So you're going to take videos of this coworker doing drugs to the VP of a bank? Why the fuck are they going to care? I imagine 90% of the people at the bank have used drugs at some point, and they're still doing business with them. Like, it's not like they're going to get outraged, like, oh, good golly. One of our clients does drugs? Cancel their accounts quickly. Freeze their assets. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is invaluable. It's so weird. And also, just for a cherry on top, the poster explained that they actually don't even bank with USAA in the first place. So he'd just be going to a random bank with a video of a random person doing drugs. At that point, you could just pull up a video from Reddit of someone doing drugs. The final message sent to this maniac was a no bitches meme saying, I don't know what drug videos you're talking about, lol. And they did post another picture as well where apparently this coworker was fired. So that sounds about par for the course. This was a loose cannon. This guy seemed very unwell. I had to share these because this gave me quite a giggle reading through these. Also, a nice little reading challenge to try and parse what he was even saying half the time in his messages. That's really about it. See ya.